Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm out at my local field to fly the GEPRC Mark IV. Now the GEPRC Mark IV frame has been around for a while in different iterations, very popular. Probably one of the more popular frames in the FPV world, mainly because it's got a very low center of gravity. You probably can't tell that here because I have a battery on it right in the center. I have a GoPro Hero 8 up here. So it's a pretty cool frame, and if you match that frame with really good flight controller and motors and a camera, then you're going to have something awesome on your hands. So GEPRC has this Mark IV that just came out, and I'll put a link to it below. You can check it out. It's not very expensive, this one, because everything's analog on here, and because everything's analog, it's the good kind of analog that will make your flying days a lot of fun. The camera on here is actually one of those cameras that's really good for low light, so if you want to fly in the evenings or at night, or when it's, you just have street lights out, you can. This camera's really good. I'll show you a demo of that in the video here. Now I'm going to take it out for a maiden flight, and I'm pretty amazed because there's a lot of weight on here. I've got a 4cell battery right here, weights it down, and the GoPro Hero 8 is on here, so that's a lot of weight on this thing, and we're going to fly this around and see how it does. All right, let's see. What am I in?
Angle mode, acro mode.
That's the one I want. Arm it.
Armed.
There we go. All right, here's the maiden flight of the GEPRC Mark IV. Now notice that huge plane flying across the sky. We're gonna follow that. Let me tell you right now, this is evening. I cannot fly a lot of drones in the evening, but the Mark IV, I can fly it in the evening because it has a special camera on it, and I'll show you that later in the video. Right now, this plane we're chasing, it's owned by Tony. You can see him in the photo here. He has to toss it over his head to get it in the air. It's a beautiful plane. It's got like a 10-foot wingspan. Now, following Tony's plane with the Mark IV is so simplistic because it's so well tuned. Now watch this shot. I'm going to actually make the quad look up, pull away at the same time. So simplistic to do on this quad. Very nice shot. Now the Mark IV frame for this quad has been around for a long time because it's got a very low center of gravity, so it's very popular. You can get it with a Tarsier 4K camera built on it so that it flies and records 4K 30 frames per second automatically. You don't have to add a GoPro. Or you can get one with a DJI FPV system, so it has a DJI air unit installed. This one that I'm flying here is the Mark IV Freestyle, at least I call it the Freestyle unit. It has an analog camera, probably one of the really coolest, best analog cameras, and it has your simple, just your normal XM Plus receiver. So it's very inexpensive. I should also mention that the Mark IV frame is carbon fiber. It's considered like a 3K carbon fiber frame. The arms are actually 5 millimeters in thickness, so you're never going to break those. The body's about 2.5 millimeters top and bottom, the frame, so that's not going to break, and it has so much room that you can add other components if you wish. Now the reason I'm flying in the evening is to show you how amazing the pilot camera is on here. It's a CAD DX Ratel 2.1 millimeter lens with a 1/18th starlight sensor. That sensor is an HDR sensor, and it allows me to see more than the human eye can see in low light. Check this out. So there's the sensor on. That's what I see when I'm flying through my Fat Sharks. That's what the GoPro sees. Here's what the sensor sees. Big difference. And let's go back to the GoPro, and now let's go back to the sensor. Look at that. This is how I'm flying in low light. This is the only quad with this camera that I own, and it's the only one I can fly in low light in the evening. And you can definitely not fly facing the sun, but with this sensor, I can fly facing the sun. It's not a problem. I can see everything as I'm flying around here. It's super, super clear. So when I want to go under objects that are blown out by the sun and the darkness, too easy, I can see it. There's the GoPro, I can't see anything. The sun is like blinding me in a lot of situations, but there's with the sensor on, it's awesome. So I was flying around this evening, the sun is going down, it's getting quite dark, and I had no problem seeing where I was flying. This was pretty incredible. Now, as mentioned a few times, the Mark IV has an awesome low center of gravity, so I can do a lot of freestyle. It's a very good freestyle drone, so you can see me doing backflips here. And doing backflips in the late evening is probably the most dangerous because you can't see the ground, it's black. But with that sensor on this camera, I see everything, so it's not a problem. So if I want to look at the sun, watch this, put the sensor on, well, it's always on in my Fat Shark goggles, so I see where I'm flying. Even when I'm coming down to land, I'm in front here trying to find the landing pad. With the sensor on, looking through my Fat Sharks, well, look at that. I have no problem finding the ground and land nicely, and that's my flight. Alright, what did you think of the GEPRC Mark IV? So this is a tried and true frame for an FPV quad. It's, it's the classic style, design, everything, and all the components in it leave lots of room to add something else. As an example, I was flying this with a 4-cell LiPo battery right here because mine's only a 4-cell version, so I have the straps right there. You can see there's plenty of space at the back. So if you get this in the 6S version, then you have a 6S battery, which is big like this. And if you plunk that on top, you still have plenty of space in the back for all sorts of stuff. So it's a really big frame. Now mine came with the mount for the GoPro Hero 8. I don't know if they all do because not everybody has a GoPro Hero 8. You might have a DJI Osmo or a Hero 7, 6 or 5. So when you order your drone, you're probably going to have to order the correct mount as well. So like all my videos, links are below to where you can find this on the GEPRC website. It's not very expensive for this size of drone and everything you get. This is not expensive. It's in the $200 range, and considering all the components that are on it and how well it flies, it's a pro drone, and you're only paying $200. It's a good deal. And coming up next, I have this box, which is what the drone came in, and I'll show you the unboxing for the GEPRC Mark IV drone. And with that, I say thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. The unboxing is coming next. Here we go. And now a super quick unboxing of the GEPRC Mark IV drone. Here we go. Opening up the box, we see the drone. Now I have already assembled all the parts on this here quad drone so that it looks like it's ready to fly. So when I say assembled, I mean I put the props on, I put these straps on, I put the little rubber mount on here, I put the GoPro 8 holder, I put the plastic on the antennas back here. So let me tell you a little bit about the Mark IV, why a lot of people love this drone. If you look at it sideways, if I just push down these straps, you can see it's very slender, very thin along the body, and the arms are very long, so that means it's got a low center of gravity, very good for freestyle. They did make it look pretty nice by putting the gold screws all over the place, so that looks quite decent. Nice color-wise everywhere. The FPV camera on the front is actually a CAD DX Ratel camera with the Starlight HD sensor. So that means if you want to fly late into the evening or at night, you'll be able to see quite a bit with that. That is a really good sensor on this here camera. Now you can get it in a 4S version, which this is, or a 6S version. The difference between the 4S and the 6S, besides how the power management works, the motors right here, you'll see on the 4S, these are 2450 kVs. The 6S would have 1850 on these brushless motors. For my Mark IV, I equipped it with a XM Plus receiver, so an FR Sky receiver. So that means I'm going to use right over here, I have a Taranis QX7 radio, which works well with this one. The carbon fiber build on this makes it super strong, and you got 3mm carbon fiber, 2mm carbon fiber. It is 3K issued carbon fiber. One thing that's really cool is check out the arms right here. Look at the arms. That is actually 5mm carbon fiber, so super thick. There's no way you're going to break those. Mine did come with a GoPro mount for the GoPro Hero 8. Of course, you can get the 7 or the 6, same as your receiver at the back. If you don't want an XM Plus like I have, get a different receiver. When you buy it, just do the configuration. This is not an expensive drone for what you get. It's very reasonable. That's why this is probably one of the more popular drones on the market today. Here we have your flight controller, your Beta FPV connection right there, and you can see the gel mounts right here. So it is one of those flight controllers that's very sensitive to movement, which means that it's very easy to control. So the PIDs are finely tuned on this thing. And now let's check out how much the Mark IV weighs with all the attachments on it. 408 grams. I'll show you a few items that come in the box. I have 4 props on it that came with this, and in the box you actually get 8 more, so 2 more sets of props. That's a lot of props. You get the typical GEPRC goodie bag, which has everything you need. I've already installed most things, so the straps for the batteries, the rubber mount for the battery, the mounts for your pads on the bottom, your prop removal tool, your Allen wrenches for all the bolts on top, your screws for your TPU mount of a GoPro, GEPRC stickers, how to bind up your FR Sky receiver, and a GEPRC link to the manual. And this brings me to the end of my review of the GEPRC Mark IV freestyle drone. So if you're into FPV and you want a really nice big FPV freestyle drone, this here is a 225mm length, which is quite large. If you want something like that, I'm going to put links below to where you can find it on the GEPRC website. If you have questions about this drone, ask away and I'll try to answer them. Just post a comment below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. I'll be back with many more RC products, FPV products, boats, cars, camera drones, everything on my channel. Stay tuned for that. But for now, I say thanks for watching and see you in the next video.